Hello, we are from the Special channel, and we have prepared a special video review for you. We want to introduce you to Lean Belly 3X, that powerful supplement that will change your life forever. So, watch the following video very carefully. Know that Lean Belly 3X will revolutionize your life. At the end of the video, leave your comment if you liked it and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Now sit back and enjoy.
Overweight because you're lazy and weak. Nobody else will ever want you after they see all those stretch marks. You're seriously going to eat all that pasta in front of all these people? You're such an idiot! You're not leaving the house looking like that, are you? I'd be embarrassed to be seen with you. Always playing the victim. No wonder why nobody likes you. Why don't you eat another donut, fatty? You screwed up again. Can't you do anything right? See what you made me do now? It's all your fault!
It angers me to share what this abusive monster did next, but it was all part of God's plan unfolding because it led to a revengeful quest that would uncover the greatest weight loss discovery of our modern time, a time-tested secret inherited by generations of the leanest, healthiest, longest-living ancient city in the world. Yet its 211 peer-reviewed research studies have been classified, hidden under lock and key inside underground laboratories until now. An ancient secret so effective, so profoundly powerful, 62-year-old grandma, Karen Brenneman Hatzel from Livonia, Michigan, used it to instantly incinerate 11 pounds of stuck menopause belly fat in the first week alone, without dieting or 1 minute of painful boring exercise. Her face, arm, hip, and thigh fat suddenly gone. Her belly flatter and firmer than when she was in her 20s, as 15, then 20, then 30 plus pounds melted off her body, just like ice cream melting on a summer day, giving her a body so skinny it made people half her age jealous, restoring her energy levels and mental clarity back to the days of her youth, soothing all her aches and pains, revitalizing her sex drive, giving her the schoolgirl complexion she thought she would never get back, skyrocketing her confidence and self-esteem to entirely new levels, leaving her friends and family and doctors shocked and in awe, dying to know how she did it all so fast. How do I know all this? Because I'm Karen's husband, the guy who fell in love with her and helped rescue her life from that abusive relationship. At first, I was extremely skeptical it could really be this easy. And then I tried this 10-second protocol myself, and my family watched in disbelief as my body instantly started eating its own fat, eliminating 21 pounds of my body's most stubborn abdominal fat, making my wife so proud she couldn't keep her hands off my sculpted abs. And we did it all without making one single change to our diet or exercise regimen. It was seemingly impossible for us to gain even a single pound because our bodies suddenly started incinerating everything we ate, from pizza and pasta to brownies and ice cream. Now, you may be doubtful, and as unimaginable as it sounds, you too can eat all your favorite foods and experience these same benefits, because science proves this 100% natural remedy holds the key to electrifying your metabolism, controlling your blood sugar, and torching stubborn fat. The powers that be want you to think that your deteriorating health and weight gain is built into your DNA, that your genes are to blame. But it's not your genes, and it's not your fault. Because in the next 3 minutes, I'll share how Karen's close call with early death uncovered the hidden cause of your excess belly fat and slow metabolism. And you'll be furious when you hear from a maverick Asian doctor with a genius-level IQ whose identity has been hidden for fear of being prosecuted and arrested, and for the first time ever today uncovers the missing piece of the weight loss puzzle for hundreds of thousands of people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, what scientists are now calling the obesity enzyme. It's the real reason why your body's cells continuously store more and more fat inside them after you turn 40 years old, no matter how hard you diet or exercise. Never before told by powerful food and drug companies who survive by making you fatter and sicker. These facts were presented in double-blind, placebo-controlled studies published in the prestigious American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, Journal of International Medical Research, and premier journal Lipids, demonstrating 400% greater fat loss. The easiness of this daily ritual will shock you and turn everything you thought you knew about fat loss on its head. An odd but simplistic, zero-effort solution specifically designed for the metabolism of people over 40 that can be done anytime, anywhere to stop your body from storing fat, sending your body's fat cells directly to active tissue where it is instantly burned for energy. This ancient secret has nothing to do with cutting carbs, using keto or paleo, intermittent fasting, counting calories, or high-intensity exercise. It's not a diet pill or sub-magic greens powder. Yet it's the one and only thing that your body needs for you to finally get the metabolism, flat belly, and slim body you deserve. In fact, after it saved Karen's life and completely transformed our bodies, we went on to share the solution with over 252,000 other regular folks just like you. From the 40-something mom or dad wanting their high school body back, to grandmas and grandpas in their 50s and 60s who need to lose weight fast because they're at risk for a heart attack or stroke.
My life is so different after being on this over 40 protocol. I lost 17 pounds when I first started, and it has just stayed off. I can wear all of the clothes that I could wear before, which is fantastic.
It's awesome. I have so much more energy. I lost, when I started, I was 234 pounds. And the day before I left for my wedding, I was down to 201.
You know, once you see results and you see results in your body and different changes that people are noticing, you get self-confidence again. You start having confidence, and everybody wants to have that.
It really was a no-brainer. It was really, really easy to follow. But I mean, once the weight started melting off, it gets addicting. You know, I feel amazing. I've had more energy than I have in a long time.
And even doctors that I speak to while I'm working, they agree. I mean, they feel that it's safe and that it obviously works.
Okay, so the achievements that I've actually had using this protocol is I'm definitely not as tired. I have a lot more energy. My clothes are fitting a lot better.
And it was the most simplified approach that I've seen yet to date. And it's so simple to follow. It just becomes a daily habit. I couldn't be happier with the results.
My clothes are looser. I've got more muscle.
I would say to everybody out there, try the over 40 protocol. It really does work. I mean, take it from me. I've tried everything. You'll start seeing results right away. And, you know, I would recommend it to everybody. My friends are on it now. My family members love it. I love it. And I'm a true believer of it.
Now that's pretty incredible. And this is really only the beginning, because every single day we get new real-life success stories just like this from all walks of life. Just imagine, no more worrying about the diseases of aging like diabetes, heart disease, or cancer. No more insecurities about people staring at you in public or undressing in front of your spouse because you're embarrassed. No more hating mirrors and cameras or worrying about society's perception of you when ordering your favorite foods. Now you'll be able to indulge in your most intense cravings guilt-free. Your body will incinerate fat cells at such lightning speed, the stubborn fat stuck on your belly, backside, and love handles will quickly disappear. You clean out your arteries, reducing risk of heart disease. You decrease your chances of diabetes by controlling blood sugar and inhibit the growth of certain cancer cells. Your creaky, inflamed joints will be soothed as you renew each one of your cells from the inside out, rebooting your aging metabolism, reigniting your daily energy, making you look and feel years younger than your real age. Entire organs, from your heart and lungs to your stomach and intestines, even your sexual organs will be revitalized and return to their normal function, all while boosting immunity, shielding your body from viruses and diseases. It's time to stop feeling like you're an alien trapped inside somebody else's body from uncomfortable and annoying weight gain. It may sound far-fetched or hard to believe, but I urge you to pay close attention over the next few minutes. Because you too can enjoy all these benefits simply by sparing 10 seconds each day to use the over 40 solution I'm about to reveal. It's literally as easy as pouring yourself a cup of coffee each morning. Yes, it really is that simple. Now I know you're probably skeptical and it may sound too good to be true, but it's not. And if you stick with me, I'll share the research to prove it so you can try this evidence-based over 40 protocol for yourself, just like we did. Because once Karen's belly fat started suffocating her heart and organs, forcing her into premature menopause, she had everything stacked against her. So if she can use it to reverse all her symptoms of aging and completely transform her body during menopause, anybody can. It doesn't matter if you're a man or woman in your 40s, 50s, or 60s who needs to lose 50 pounds or more, or you have that last 15 to 20 pounds of stubborn fat that just won't budge. Or maybe you just want to restore youthful energy and avoid age-related diseases. No matter what extreme diets you've attempted or how many hours of painful exercise you've endured, even if you think you've tried every trick in the book, but truth be told, you'll never hear about this unusual evidence-based discovery from your doctor personal trainers, or dietitians. Until now, it's been hidden inside private research labs, hidden by the most heavily lobbied food and drug companies in the world. They knowingly do it just for the money because they have to protect the $185.2 billion that lines their greedy pockets every year, which is why they'll ban this video the second they see it, because it threatens their livelihood and they need your money in order to survive. The same companies that use distorted reporting and bogus research to brainwash us into believing we need to rely on their deadly and ineffective drugs. And since our right to free speech is now under constant attack, pay close attention now before they catch wind of this video and force me to take it down. This knowledge that saved Karen's life and reshaped her body can do the same for you. Right now, for the first time ever, I'm pulling back the curtain to make this over 40 fat burning secret public, as you'll be blown away when you identify the evidence-based underlying root cause of your stubborn body fat. And it has absolutely nothing to do with your hormones or the metabolism your mom and dad gave you. Yet it finally explains the one and only reason why some people have always been skinny and can still eat whatever they want without gaining an ounce. All while you nibble on bibs of lettuce and exercise for hours on end without seeing the scale budge. You will be shocked when I show you how easy it is to use this 10-second ancient protocol proven to block this fat storing enzyme, so you too can start effortlessly dissolving stubborn fat cells, even while you're sitting at your desk, watching TV, or sleeping. And that only begins to touch the tip of the iceberg on what's to come, because you'll be furious when I tell you the 2 hidden reasons why hundreds of millions of dieters have been tricked into gaining all or more of their weight back and will never lose it again. Medicare, PubMed, Harvard Health, and Time Magazine all reported the evidence. Dieting permanently damages and slows down metabolism and destroys fat-burning hormones. You can use this 10-second solution to end this vicious cycle of lies and deception once and for all. It all starts right now. But in order for you to finally free yourself from the guilt and shame of unwanted fat, I need your full attention. Hello, and thank you for joining me. My name is Sean Hansel, and even though I've helped hundreds of thousands of people over the last 22 years as a fitness professional and best-selling author, I'm really no different than you. I'm just a simple guy who grew up in a middle-class family on a produce farm in a little town called Birch Run, Michigan, who somehow got lucky enough to marry the woman of my dreams. I'm also a proud father and a papa to 7 beautiful grandkids. However, my true passion is saving lives by providing clean, sustainable water to needy families in third world countries. We've helped build over 55 water wells for poverty-stricken men, women, and children in countries like Nicaragua, Zimbabwe, and Honduras. So I've witnessed firsthand what it's like to be unhealthy and malnourished. And just like the deficiencies that plague these third world countries, as you age, your body becomes deficient. That's what happened to Karen. It brings tears to my eyes and gets me choked up every time I talk about what my wife had to go through to uncover this revolutionary breakthrough. But my faith in God gives me a sense of duty and obligation to share this unknown, yet almost effortless new solution to eliminating belly fat. It all began right after Karen was verbally and physically abused by her ex-boyfriend. Even though I had protected her and helped her heal on the outside, she was still severely damaged on the inside. So right after we met, I started personal training her each week to help her build back up all the confidence and self-esteem she had lost. I remember how proud I was watching her work out, just one of the many reasons I fell in love with her. But even though Karen kept eating healthy and exercising, the stress from that abusive relationship was too much to bear. The second she turned 40, her body suddenly began to change. She started storing more and more fat in unusual places like her upper belly, arms, hips, and backside. Her menstrual cycles were irregular and she had insomnia nearly every night. Little did we know, these were all warning signs of the horror story to come. She exercised every day, cardio, cycling, bodyweight exercises. She slaved away in the kitchen cooking healthy meals for our family. I had her try everything: keto, paleo, Whole30, vegan, intermittent fasting, counting points and macros, diet pills, you name it, Karen tried it. And every time she tried something new, she would always get her hopes up and feel a false sense of security after losing a few pounds. Then, by week 2, the inevitable weight loss plateau would rear its ugly head, leading to more disappointment and frustration every time she stepped on the scale. I didn't know what else to do. I watched her do everything right. I tirelessly researched the latest scientific studies to find her a solution. No matter what we tried, we could never get Karen over the hump. Slowly but surely, the weight crept up until she woke up one day with over 30 extra pounds of dangerous stomach fat wrapped directly around her waistline. Every time she would try to button up her jeans, she could see and feel the excess flab hanging over top of her pants for the first time in her life. It was slowly chipping away at the identity she once had, destroying her confidence and self-esteem. Karen was convinced her body was ruined and thought I'd never love her or look at her the same way again. It's really embarrassing to admit this, but our intimacy completely vanished. And no matter how much I begged her to make love, she was so ashamed she didn't want me to see her naked. She hid in the closet every time she got dressed and started wearing baggy clothes, and secretly hid all her insecurities as a result of her embarrassing weight gain. If you've ever felt shame, sadness, anxiety, uncertainty, or self-hatred because of your excess body fat, you're not alone. I personally witnessed my best friend in the world go through a living hell with her body, so we know firsthand what you've been through and how you feel. Karen had these same feelings every day. Then in an instant, things got much worse. Close call of death. But strangely enough, God had other plans that would ultimately lead to this over 40 fat burning protocol, scientifically proven to quickly erase belly, arm, hip, and thigh fat. I was driving to the store when I saw Karen calling in after her colonoscopy appointment. Honey, everything go okay?
Sean, you're not going to believe this. The doctor just told me it's surrounding my heart and organs. And I only have a 12% chance of making it. Pray for me, Sean. Please.
The second she gave me the horrifying news, my heart started racing rapidly. I could feel the adrenaline rush in my chest, so I pulled over as quickly as I could. It was colorectal cancer. Needless to say, we were devastated, and the next several weeks were the most stressful time we've ever experienced in our marriage. After 8 weeks of the medical industry poisoning her body with harmful painkillers, chemo, and radiation treatments, Karen looked like she had aged at least 10 years. I'll never forget when they gave her chemotherapy for the first time. I was there squeezing her hand when they opened the valve as the chemo slowly started flowing through the tube directly into her veins. I sat there and painfully watched as her skin slowly turned yellow. It was almost as if I could see her getting older right before my own eyes. Then there was the radiation. It caused so much damage to her hips and ovaries, she couldn't even walk. So I had to carry her from the car into a wheelchair just so she could make it into treatments. They kept giving her more and more medicines until she eventually developed a condition called cancer-induced premature menopause. Watching Karen go through this was one of the most excruciating moments of my life. It was heartbreaking for me, exhausting and overwhelming for her. No matter how hard Karen tried afterwards, she kept piling on more and more belly fat. I felt hopeless because no matter how much I loved her, no matter how much I showered her with gifts, or how much affection I showed her, she still felt unattractive, insecure, vulnerable, alone. What I didn't realize at the time was Karen's unexplained weight gain. The reason nothing else worked was from a tiny little trigger hiding deep inside her that was rapidly multiplying her fat cells. It's the same trigger making every person in their 40s, 50s, and 60s get heavier on the scales with each passing year, even if your diet and exercise is the same. We know this for a fact because in just a second, you'll discover the little known root cause of your belly fat and the 10-second protocol you can use today to instantly stop fat storage. It all started to unravel at Karen's next checkup when the nurses noticed her belly was unusually bloated and hard to the touch. It was protruding outward so badly it made them suspicious, so they decided to run a CT scan. And that's when we discovered what was slowly killing Karen. We were waiting on the test results for what seemed like hours when her primary care doctor, Dr. Peters, finally came in to give us the bad news.
Karen, I'm sorry. I wish I had better news, but the radiation and chemo treatments have caused severe ovary damage, and the excess weight is surrounding your heart and organs. Unfortunately, this isn't ordinary body fat. It's a deadly type of fat called acute visceral adipose tissue, or AVAT. There's no easy way to say this, but this dangerous type of fat possesses so many fatal health risks, it's now known by the medical community as death fat. And it's currently found in the abdominal cavity in 7 out of 10 Americans. This means that 70% of the population has a belly issue that can increase their likelihood of early death by nearly 200%. Now, sadly, the visceral fat has pushed your blood pressure and cholesterol to dangerous levels, and it's dramatically increasing your risk for heart disease and stroke.
Dr. Peters went on to tell us how this deadly type of fat tricks your body into storing fat in overdrive, causing your belly to swell and blow. If you're a man or woman over 40 and you can look down right now and you see 1 inch or more hanging over your waistline, chances are very high you suffer from AVAT, just like Karen did. It's a fact that's extremely concerning, and we knew it could steal years away from Karen's life if we didn't act fast. Karen was devastated, and I was beside myself. First, the cancer and weight gain, now AVAT. She kept thinking about our 7 grandkids. Would she live long enough to see them grow up, go to kindergarten, walk down the aisle, get married, and have kids of their own? Would we ever experience intimacy in our relationship again? Would we grow old together and see our golden years? All these unanswered questions haunted her day and night. It seemed like we had lost all hope, but pay close attention to what happened next, because it's the only breakthrough Karen needed, as proven in clinical research, using this 10-second remedy that can be done anytime, anywhere, to torch fat cells from your stubborn body parts. By this point, I was overwhelmed with burden and guilt about what happened to my wife. I felt like a fraud and a failure. After all, I was the fitness professional and so-called nutrition expert who gave her all the conventional methods we had used with our clients over the years. So I felt like it was my fault. All the passion and energy I poured into creating my best-selling online courses, all the direction I gave people on TV over the years, all the magazines I was featured in, all the lives I've transformed, placing first runner-up grand champion in the world-renowned Body for Life contest, all these accomplishments meant nothing if I couldn't find my best friend and soulmate a solution. I knew it was now or never. If I didn't help Karen heal her aging metabolism and get rid of her dangerous stomach fat, there was no telling what would happen to her health, our marriage, or our future. I kept praying every day, but had no clue God's plan to heal Karen was unfolding right before our very own eyes. It was a few months later when we went to see Karen's oncologist, Dr. Chan, for a follow-up cancer test and finally got some good news. Even though Karen was still dealing with extreme risk of AVAT being wrapped around her stomach, heart, and organs, at least she was finally in remission. Then, all of a sudden, something strange and unexpected happened. Something that would change everything, so make sure you listen closely. Right when we were leaving the doctor's office, Karen suddenly spotted a picture of a beautiful yellow flower on the wall. Although we were completely clueless at the time, this little yellow flower from Asia held the long-forgotten fat-burning secret that would flatten Karen's menopause belly and eliminate her AVAT. The picture had a tiny caption underneath with the letters AMA. Karen was curious, so she asked Dr. Chan what it stood for. She pointed at it and said,
AMA stands for Asian Mortality Advantage because that little yellow flower contains a special super fat that's been a longevity secret of my culture since the 1800s. But it was originally discovered inside the ancient tomb of King Tut over 4,000 years ago. Then, researchers from the University of Wisconsin-Madison spent 9 years identifying over 200 studies worldwide for its ability to stop obesity and fight disease.
Dr. Chan reached into her file cabinet, pulled out a pamphlet, and handed it to us so we could learn more. But we were both just so relieved that Karen was finally cancer-free, we didn't give it a second thought. When we got home, I threw it in the junk drawer and forgot all about it. As the weeks passed, Karen was trying to be strong. Even though we caught the cancer just in time to save her, the damage to her body and self-worth was already done. It broke my heart, but Karen had already tried everything. Then, just when we thought we had exhausted all our options, our prayers were finally answered. It was just another spring morning when I pulled into my driveway and spotted a dandelion popping up in my front yard. I walked over, reached down to pull it out of the ground, and all of a sudden, I remembered the day Dr. Chan gave us that pamphlet with a picture of that yellow flower from Asia. Karen and Dr. Chan had built such a deep bond over the course of all her cancer treatments, I knew, without a doubt, I could trust the research. So I rushed into the house, ran to our junk drawer, and I started rummaging through the pile of junk until I found it. At this point, I had nothing to lose, so I started devouring every word. At first, it made me furious when I read all the bald-faced lies and bogus claims the most powerful, heavily lobbied food and drug companies in the world use to keep us all fatter and sicker. Just look around and it's obvious. There are more medicines, cosmetic surgeries, and weight loss procedures than any other time in history. They're all banking millions, yet 71.6% of all Americans are now obese or overweight. It's a broken system. That's why it's not your fault. And right now, you're going to discover the real culprit of your stubborn fat, along with the 10-second protocol proven in dozens of peer-reviewed research studies to erase years of AVAT. After reviewing all the scientific literature, I finally discovered what Dr. Chan meant by the Asian mortality advantage and all the hard science behind this little yellow flower's miraculous benefits. Study after study showing how the special type of superfat found inside the seeds of this flower decreased incidences of diabetes by controlling blood sugar, inhibited the growth of certain cancer cells and limited artery plaque buildup, reducing risk of heart disease. But what I read next really blew me away because it finally uncovered the real root cause of Karen's bloated belly and AVAT. Even my certifications and textbook education over the last 22 years never taught me the number one reason why people store so many more fat cells after turning 40. In fact, My entire identity as a fitness and nutrition expert was turned upside down after reading it. You see, all the years of stress, the processed foods, the sugar and toxins leading to weight gain, trigger your body to release an enzyme that is responsible for the rapid storage of this dangerous belly fat, as found in 7 out of 10 Americans. It's called lipoprotein lipase, or LPL for short, and it's now known as the obesity enzyme because it sits on the surface of your fat cells and pushes fat molecules into fatty tissue for storage. And since LPL is produced by stored body fat, every pound you gain after 40 makes your body release more and more of this fat storing enzyme. So the heavier you become, the more LPL your body produces. And every time you try a diet, scientific evidence proves it makes your LPL levels 10 times worse. A team of UCLA researchers confirmed these facts when they completed the most comprehensive and rigorous analysis of diets ever conducted. After reviewing 31 long-term studies, they concluded dieting does not work and is a consistent predictor of weight regain, meaning 94% of dieters gain all or more of their weight back, causing LPL levels to skyrocket even further, making it impossible to see the scale move down. This is what happened to Karen, and it's one of the leading causes of the obesity epidemic today. When you were younger and lighter on the scales, levels of LPL were naturally lower, so your body automatically sent fat to active tissue to burn it for energy. That's the reason it was so much easier to keep the weight off in your 20s and 30s. I'm sure you can remember, which is precisely why it doesn't matter how much discipline or willpower you have. It doesn't matter how much you exercise or try to eliminate carbs, sugar, or gluten by attempting today's most popular diets, whether it's low carb, keto, paleo, or vegan. If you don't understand how to turn off this obesity enzyme, you will continue to struggle with excessive fat storage. When you block LPL using this over 40 superfat protocol, you stop the storage of fat cells that cause AVAT and belly bloat, allowing your body to use them for fuel instead. And when you stop fat storage, your belly gets a little flatter and a little firmer each day, helping you look and feel years younger than your real age. You get smaller in all the right places. You'll also gain lean muscle, which means more calories burned each day, accelerating the fat burning process even further. And dozens of research studies show there's no yo-yo dieting effect. Then there's an amazing metabolism healing aspect that cools down inflammation, keeps your arteries clean, lowers cholesterol and blood pressure, and balances your blood sugar. It truly is one of the most researched discoveries I've ever come across in my 22-year career. As Dr. Chan alluded to, the secret is found inside the seed of that magical yellow flower from Asia called the safflower, which contains a special superfat called conjugated linoleic acid, or CLA for short. And not just any type of CLA either. It's a highly specialized, potent version, so powerful and effective at blocking LPL, it increases your belly fat burning capacity up to 400%. In other words, this special type of CLA superfat sends fat cells straight to muscle tissue where it's instantly burned for energy, helping any person in their 40s, 50s, and 60s quickly shrink their waistline, eliminate belly bloat, and prevent the storage of death fat. There were dozens of double-blind, placebo-controlled human studies listed, the highest standard of research design, showing just how powerful this special type of CLA can be for burning stubborn body fat. The first one was published in the Journal of International Medical Research, where 20 participants were either given conjugated linoleic acid or an imposter to take daily for 12 weeks. At the end of the study period, the CLA group lost 20% of their body fat, while the placebo group lost no fat at all. In another double-blind, placebo-controlled human study conducted by renowned Swedish researcher Dr. Annika Smedman, those receiving conjugated linoleic acid lost 400% more fat than the placebo group over the course of 12 weeks. And this was all done without any change in diet and without the implementation of a regular exercise program. 400% greater fat loss? I thought, wow, now this little underground pamphlet really had my attention. Every study I read showed people who make no changes to their diet or exercise routines, but simply take 10 seconds each day to use this CLA fat hack, lose significantly more fat directly from their belly and abdominal region. The next study I read really hit home and got my attention. This double-blind, placebo-controlled human study, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition with more than 175 participants, resulted in the CLA group losing 8.7% of their total body fat, while the group taking the imposter gained weight. It also showed how this special type of CLA from safflower oil improved blood sugar, cholesterol, and inflammation. Subjects were asked not to change their diet or exercise routines during the study, further validating the intake of CLA as the only explanation for the vast difference in results between the two test groups. A third study conducted at the University of Barcelona, Spain, measuring the effects of CLA intake in 60 healthy men and women aged 35 to 65, found that subjects receiving conjugated linoleic acid lost significant body fat, 78% of which was from the belly region, while the placebo group once again actually gained weight. Clearly, research shows CLA to be the #1 fat for burning unwanted belly flab through its unique ability to activate the full fat burning potential of each cell. That's all Karen did to completely flatten her menopause belly and transform her body in record time. She simply used this 10-second CLA fat hack each day. That's it. Within 1 week, her body started responding, just like when she was in her 20s and 30s. I'll never forget the day. It was just another Friday morning, her day to weigh in, when Karen startled me out of bed.
Honey,
She said excitedly,
you're not going to believe this. I just got on the scale and lost 11 pounds, and I've only been using that CLA stuff you gave me for 7 days. I'm finally over the hump.
"What?" I boasted. "Are you sure?" I replied like I doubted her, thinking it was too good to be true. "Holy crap," I said in a surprising voice. "That's 1.5 pounds each day." Karen was so emotional, I could see the tears slowly start to well up in her eyes, and she started to cry. "What's wrong?" I said. "You should be excited," as I gave her a big hug.
I feel like my metabolism has been working against me for so long. Seriously, Sean, this is the first time I've been excited about my body in over 3 years.
At that very moment, the tears of joy slowly started rolling down my cheeks, so I can only imagine how she felt. The changes Karen experienced over the next 2 weeks were mind-blowing, to say the least. 11 pounds of visceral death fat gone in only 7 days, losing over 30 pounds of menopause-induced belly fat. Her belly was flatter than when she was in her 30s and 40s, and she looked just as good, if not better, at 60 years old than she did when I met her at 44. And it all happened in less than 8 weeks of her using this 10-second daily fat-burning ritual. And that was really only the beginning. Her confidence and self-esteem were finally restored. Karen was back. The Karen I remember from when we first got married. She started smiling more, laughing more, and we started having fun together for the first time in years. The benefits were so remarkable, it reignited the intimacy in our marriage, and we started making love again for the first time in months. Thank God! It was slowly putting a wedge between us, and now we were both finally on the same lovemaking page. What a relief. At Karen's next checkup, her primary care doctor gave her a risk assessment test and said she only had a 3.4% chance of having a heart attack or stroke in the next decade. He was elated, and we were blown away. Karen experienced a true miracle that stunned her entire family and medical team. She was no longer afraid of dying at a young age or worried about not seeing our 7 grandchildren grow up. It felt like 1,000 pounds was lifted off my shoulders. And let's not forget all the other amazing health benefits she started experiencing from using this CLA fat hack. Her achy, painful joints were renewed and rendered pain-free. Her brain was revitalized with clearer thinking. Her body was rejuvenated with younger-looking skin. And for the first time in 3 years, she started sleeping through the night. The hot flashes, chills, night sweats, mood swings, insomnia, and weight gain all disappeared. It was like she aged backwards at least 10 years in just a few short months. Now we could both finally see how it was all part of God's divine plan. Without Karen's cancer journey, this 10-second fat hack would not exist. It's all thanks to that underground pamphlet Dr. Chan handed us when we were leaving the doctor's office that day. But there was still one more big challenge we needed to overcome. Dr. Chan's handout said you could only get an effective dose of high-quality CLA in one of 2 ways. The first way to obtain adequate CLA is from the regular consumption of grass-fed beef and dairy fats. However, the scientifically effective amount of conjugated linoleic acid, the daily amount necessary to obtain its belly fat-burning benefits, is upwards of 2 grams per day, an amount that makes obtaining this level a virtual impossibility through beef and dairy products alone. For example, in order to get the research-backed 2-gram dose each day of CLA, you would need to stuff yourself with 12 pounds of beef, 25 pounds of cheddar cheese, 5.5 sticks of butter, 7.5 gallons of milk, or 78 8-ounce containers of yogurt every single day of the week. Now, it's pretty obvious the excess calories would far outweigh all the evidence-based fat-burning benefits of CLA, and there's no way any of us could consume this much food every day. It would be next to impossible, not to mention the extraordinary expenses. But what if you could get the scientifically effective level of CLA daily in the form of an easy-to-take capsule without having to choke down pounds of beef and dairy products each and every day. And what if you could do it along with the addition of another ingredient to increase your results 60% beyond what conjugated linoleic acid is able to provide by itself? That's exactly what Dr. Chan showed us how to do by extracting it directly from the seeds of the safflower. But before we could share this fat-burning breakthrough with the people we loved and cared about, we wanted to make 100% sure our new revolutionary formula would work for both men and women over 40. So after Karen's amazing body transformation, I decided to put this fat-burning superfat to the test on my own body to further validate its effectiveness. And just 10 weeks later, my body fat reached their lowest levels ever, and I had chiseled abs for the first time since I was in my early 30s. In fact, the results were so unbelievable, people on social media actually accused me of photoshopping my pictures. By this point, we were both so excited with our own personal results, we made it our life's mission to share this fat-burning secret with the world.